how many times do you follow up if they don't reply within a week? I'll tell you mine because it's not 30. They see you as a resource. They see you as someone who's not going away. They rely on you, and they're going to rely on you for your photography.
You're listening to the Shoot Your Shot podcast with Lindsay and Tim.
Quite a bit shorter from the last time I saw you. You're looking really fresh.
Thanks, man.
Wow.
Appreciate it.
The last time I saw you, I'm such a bad friend. I commented on how many grays you have, and you were like, yeah, you've always had them, but I think it's just because they grew out.
Yeah. Oh, watching her cut the hair and like fall onto my bib. So humiliating. You're just an adult wearing a bib, getting a haircut. But like there was every 3 inches, there was another gray hair. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You don't have them up top, just on the sides.
Yeah.
You have a few up there.
They're hidden.
Yeah.
Once you look down at my hair,
you know what's crazy? Well, I don't see the top of it very often because you're so much taller than me, but my gray hairs are in a criminal spot. They are literally just straight down my part.
Yeah.
And then right around the frame of my face. When I even asked Amber, my stylist, yesterday or the day before, am I lying to myself and saying that they're only there, but that's just because that's where I can see?
That's the frame?
And she said, no, like you've just been cursed. Like they're literally, they don't exist at the back of your head. They don't exist under here either. They just are
down that line.
Just in a very expensive place for them to be.
Welcome back to the Shoot Your Shot podcast. We don't always talk about hair, but today we thought we'd start with it because it's what we look at.
Because we're so handsome.
Thank you for commenting, subscribing, liking, being here on YouTube, as well as whatever podcasting app you listen to us on. We are the community-driven photography podcast for wedding and portrait photographers. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, friends. It's nice to see you.
Yeah.
Guess what, Tim?
What?
1 year ago today.
Okay.
We started this podcast.
Really? Oh, yeah, 52.
Isn't that cute?
That's
so cheers
wild.
to that.
Cheers.
I know, you didn't even know.
Cheers.
He's like, wow, I do a lot of work.
Episode
didn't
52. Welcome to the 1 year anniversary show.
We have a good one today.
We have a good one today. We found some interesting things online. Usually we take calls and questions from listeners, but every now and then something comes across our desk that is just too
in the newsroom.
Juicy. Yeah. It's too delicious to
too
like
delectable
pass up.
to leave behind. And being that we are community driven, we like to comment on the things that are happening in the photography community. The good, the bad, the ugly. I am going to put I'm probably not going to do this, but I tell as many buddy.
Listen,
I'm going backwards. I'm going backwards right into bed. I tell as many people as I can that we're on the Sepia Brides list.
Yeah.
Like I always joke like, oh, I have a list. And then for those of you who aren't watching, I pull my right hand out and then I take my left hand and I write like a little note. And I'm like, oh, they're on my list.
Yeah.
So anybody who wrongs me or specifically wrongs people that I care about, they get added to the list.
They make the list.
And then once they're on the list,
it's very hard to get off the list.
You don't get off the list. No.
How big is yours list? This list?
It's pretty specific. I'll say it's pretty specific. I don't have a lot of people that wrong me, but anybody that wrongs people I care about, you're going on the list.
How small is the font? Because I feel like the list hasn't been bigger than your palm for as long as I've known you, and you've written quite a few names on that list. So you must be writing like .000.
It's like a Mary Poppins bag of a list.
Got it.
Do you know what I mean? Like there's not a top and a bottom. It just keeps going.
Sure.
Yeah, like
fourth dimension list
through time and space.
Got it.
But we are on the Sepia Brides list.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because of the time I said that I wouldn't be her friend. That's not mean. That's true.
We're not buds.
Anyways, we do like to comment on things that happen in this industry.
Yes.
There's a lot of nonsense that happens in this industry.
So
man.
much.
I'm like, does this happen in other industries? It probably does.
Probably, but
those people don't have podcasts.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and endless amounts of Facebook groups. Oh my gosh. Like, I think photographers are single-handedly keeping Facebook alive in like Facebook groups. Why do we have so many of them? But anyways,
do you think that's because of like just the amount of work that we mostly work weekends, and every other day of the week we're just like on laptops or desktops just kind of browsing the internet as we edit?
I think that's probably the case. And then I think it's also because we are so siloed as individual business owners, independent business owners, that we find our community in online spaces.
Yeah.
Right? Like there is obviously a direct correlation, and you can see it when you meet photographers at conferences and stuff, the direct correlation between people who used to be gamers and people who used to be in forums. Like Taylor used to run like a music forum.
Yeah.
Like people that did individual activities when they were younger, and now they're still doing this individual job. So I think that we just try to find community in online spaces. And I love the the highlight reel of some of these Facebook groups that I am in. I don't even have the Facebook app on my phone because it's just such a time suck, and I have no need for it. Like
Bingo.
it's not serving my purposes, but I do love a doom scroll through just to see what everybody is up to.
You found this.
Yeah, this is where I found this one here.
Do you want to read this one? You have such a good voice for reading.
Oh, sure, Tim. That's so nice. I'll give it a read. It's a really big one, everybody. So buckle up.
Buckle in.
It is a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we are. This is a post from a photographer named Mike Morby. He is based out of Philadelphia. And he posted this, I believe he posted this on his own personal Facebook page, but it has been shared in numerous groups at this point, and it's probably, by the time of listening to this, has probably gone mostly viral.
Yes.
Here we are. This is really hard for me to share, but I feel the need to make everyone aware of a local photography/videography business that is using unethical sales strategies to steal leads from me and other hardworking photographers. Here's the story. I hope you take the time to read it and help raise awareness, because the future of my and other businesses depend on it. Well, we are reading, and we are absolutely raising the awareness of this one. As you may know, Carrie and I have spent the past 17 years growing Morby Photography. Not only have we worked hard to build our own business, but we've been a part of helping others build and sustain their businesses. I've never viewed other photographers as competition, which is why we openly share every aspect of our business, even when it means losing a few bookings to the studios we've helped. I believe in community over competition, and as they say, a rising tide lifts all boats. Because of the success others have experienced with our coaching, in 2021, a local videography studio reached out and asked if we'd help them grow the photography branch of their company. We gladly accepted and entered a 1-year agreement to build out every aspect of their photography branch. Once our time ended, we parted ways, and I looked forward to tracking their success. However, over time, I started hearing rumors that they were using unethical business practices to grow. At first, I shrugged it off, unable to believe it, but the rumors kept coming. Then I received information that made me realize I can't ignore it any longer. 3 days ago, I was informed that when someone searches for Morby Photography, this is Mike's business, on Google, an ad from New Pace appears, using my business name in the headline as a keyword to mislead potential clients into thinking they are clicking on my site, when in reality they are being directed to New Pace's website. Screenshots and videos attached, and we are going to play the screen recording so that you can see the whole thing. Not only are they using my name to siphon leads to their business, they are also doing this to other photographers in the area. And this is an aside from Lindsay. I believe that there are 16 photographers that are saying that they were impacted by this at this moment.
Good grief.
They're using the top ranking people in their area and doing this Google thing. Okay, we'll go back. Just to, when he says other people, you see how many people there are. Where am I?
Friends, business name.
While doing this,
yes.
Sorry, you're like, you're so good at reading. And I'm like, oh no. Okay, here. Not only are they using my name to siphon leads to their business, they're also doing this to other photographers in the area. One example, they have been using my friend's business name for their Google ads. Same thing that they're doing to him, it seems like, looking to steal inquiries from her. While doing this, they simultaneously emailed her with a job offer to join their company. Their strategy seems to be put others out of business, then offer them a job while they're struggling. That is a claim that I think can absolutely get you sued. So just again, fair disclaimer on this one. These are someone else's words, but Mike, I would be cautious of saying that you understand their strategy is to put them out of business, because it may seem like that. We do not know that that's their strategy. It just might be a 1-2 punch of they like this photographer's work. Yeah. They think we should try to get their clients, and at the same time, we'll see if they want to come work for us. I digress.
You can imagine
how shocking this news is. Every photographer I talk to is struggling with bookings right now, myself included. And as if that isn't hard enough, New Pace is kicking us while we're down just to make themselves bigger and stronger. If these unethical practices are left unchecked, they have the potential to monopolize our market, taking the majority of leads and putting hardworking individuals out of business. We've all spent years growing our businesses with honesty, integrity, and trust, and that will be taken away by others that want to cheat and steal their way to the top.
Let me read the last one here.
Please, this is a good one.
Many believe that nothing will change, but I'm optimistic that my industry peers will stand with me. This isn't about competition. It's about integrity. Small businesses rely on transparency, reputation, and trust. When those are undermined, it affects everyone. I hope this post stops the unethical tactics of NewPace and sparks a larger conversation about ethical marketing practices in our industry.
I really liked the last line because I think it really brings together what Mike is trying to say here. Like, he's not just saying like, boo me, this is really sad and I don't like it. He's saying we've all built our businesses based on like just really working hard, being good people with integrity. Totally. And then somebody comes in, takes the fast track, hires him, and then says, oh, that's mine now.
And it feels personal because this person, like, they've gotten to know each other over the course of a year. He mentions like they helped each other build each other's business. Mike helped him build their businesses. Yeah. And then they come in and just do this kind of backdoor steely action. Yeah. That's mine. You've had issues with this in the past where people have gone onto your website and taken your copy word for word and transplanted it and put it onto their website. So we're no strangers to this. And usually it's
people that I have helped out.
Yeah. People you talk to online or like discuss things with.
I shared in the Jacqueline Poole episode that there's a photographer in our area that asked me for advice, asked me for business help. I gave it to him. Yeah. And then he turned around and made a Facebook post that said, work so hard until your idols become your rivals. First of all,
where is he now?
I love it. What is it? A Drake song probably? Anyways. But that person has done some really unethical things. And he also told potential clients of mine, he could do what I did for 50% of the cost because he trained under me. And I was like, you didn't train under me. You watched some YouTube videos. That's a very different thing. Yeah. And it is hard because the first times I was hearing about him doing these unethical things, I thought like, well, no, that's not what I taught him. I didn't tell him to do any of that. So that's crazy. But people that want to fast track their success do make good choices, and sometimes they do go to the leaders in their area and learn from them. And then they start saying, well, what they've done is really hard. That took a lot of hard work. I'm going to do something in a different way. Yeah. But just to give some visuals to this, because I feel like it's really hard to understand what he's talking about and why this is so shitty without the way that visuals.
Google structures everything is it's ad based. We all knew that. We all know that going into the whole game of the internet. That's what Google does. That's how they make their money, based on ads. So when you search anything, you'll see the first maybe 2 or 3, depending on how popular that search field is, results come up as a sponsored ad, which you can see here. We took a screenshot. If you're on YouTube, check us out. If you're listening in your car, that's totally cool too. I'll explain it to you. The first, so the input search criteria that this person put in for the screenshot is Morby Photography, and the first sponsored result that comes up is NewPace Weddings. But the heading that they've included in the SEO of this sponsored result says Morby Photography, even though it points to a very different website. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then right below it then is the actual Morby Photography Google listing. Yes. Now, I do want to say that this is not an uncommon practice. Sure. The overall idea, which is using another company's name as the search term. So let's, for example, say that I'm going to search, I don't know, H&M. Love H&M.
Okay, so I'm going to search for H&M in Google's listing. H&M is probably going to have the top ranking actual organic search for H&M. Sure. But anybody who wants to eat H&M's lunch, meaning anybody who wants the type of customers that are searching for H&M, will sponsor ads. And often what I will see, especially on like top ranking businesses, whether it's in our area, local, small, big, whatever, you name it, it's going to say then at the top, it's going to say Zara. Yeah. Zara fashion for women, whatever. Then it is going to say like Dynamite, whatever. It's going to have them all listed, but they will say their actual name. Yeah. So the issue here that we are seeing that I think is the biggest, the most egregious issue is that it actually says Morby Photography. Yeah. Which is, it is unethical.
Which just seems like it from your perspective. It is misleading. Yeah, it's misleading because as a person viewing this, if I search for Morby and I knew Mike, and I'm like, oh, it's exciting. Oh, he changed his name to NewPace Photography. That's interesting.
Especially because it's not a name. It would be much harder for us to get away with it. Like I'm not going to run a Google ad trying to get Tim Musa with the name Lindsay Coulter and get away with that too easily. Exactly. But if I then had something that is a generic name like New Pace, then
you could think that, oh, maybe Mike has a second branch of his wedding photography business and this is the new thing.
Especially when Mike helped them build out the business. So the websites look really similar. The photo style, all of it looks quite similar. So and they're in the same location, right? Dude. So it wouldn't be all that hard.
Dude, I'd be so pissed.
Especially if you are Morby Photography and you've been doing this. I think he said he's been doing this for 17 years.
17 years, yeah.
And that means that he has built a reputation in person with people.
Yes.
So when people maybe don't know his business name, but they know Morby, like whatever, they're just searching for Morby Photography because they know that's, I think it's him and his wife, I'm guessing is Carrie. They know, oh, they shot like so-and-so's event. So they go to search Morby Photography, but they don't actually know that that's necessarily their name,
They can't remember the face,
They're
maybe?
like, I think that's it. And then they go and they see the top result. And although I like to believe that people are aware of how to use the internet, Donald Trump is the president. So it's just very evident that we don't understand how the internet works. You know what I mean? We don't understand that people have been lying to us.
And people can't
also,
lie.
hey, what's up? Sorry to the Republicans that have entered the chat. You voted him in. Here we are.
Majority.
And, it's just very clear. It's very clear that people don't know how to use critical thinking skills.
True. Yeah.
And for older people, for anybody who just isn't familiar with Google listings, and even people that are smart and they're just rushing, they're just in a rush.
Well, I don't have time. This is my full-time job, planning a wedding. I'm just going to find a photographer that's on my list of to-dos. Great.
So what would make a photographer do something like this, Tim? And this is, I think, greed for sure.
Yeah.
The thing is, this person has obviously tried to grow quickly. And grow very big very quickly because they were a videography company. Now they want to offer photography. It sounds like they hire people in their area, right?
Sure.
Because they're trying to hire that other photographer. So they're running an associate business. Why is it always the associate photographers running
Morby's
the scuzziest businesses?
Also an associate business, though. He also has associates. I looked at his website.
Okay.
He has like 5 or 6 photographers underneath his name who he can send out. So they can book multiple weddings a weekend, which leads me to believe that maybe this New Pace photography group is just literally following in his footsteps, but being a bit more aggressive about it.
Which is, you know what, to talk about this like from a more personalized standpoint, it's part of the reason why I struggled for a really long time with doing any education. It took me years to put out a course because I still work in this area. And when Taylor started shifting more into education and courses and YouTube, his business obviously slowed down a little bit. It's just how it's going to go because he's only one human building out multiple businesses. But the biggest issues I ran into were from local photographers trying to do what I was doing, but like word for word doing what I was doing. Do you know what I mean? Like we can't all just literally use the same verbiage on our websites. That is my bio. You know what I mean? That's a weird thing to steal from somebody. But when you are in this position like Mike is, where he's been in the business for 17 years, the next natural step is to try to help other people grow their businesses because it does feel good. There's a reason why you and I have this podcast. It feels good to help other people grow their companies and find financial success and find the freedom that we have found because we are stoked and we can not shoot 5,000 weddings a year.
There's too many.
I'm not that greedy. I don't want to do it.
I don't have the energy for it. It's a lot.
Could we run associate businesses and do all the unethical shit that comes along with some of the associate businesses we've seen? Of course.
Do I want the stress of that? Fuck no.
I enjoy my life. And that's why we do this little podcast thing and we give people like funny little tips without having to be like, well, we'll just dominate the industry then. That's cool. I don't want to dominate.
No.
I want to do a nice job in my field, and I want to stay small.
Can I tell you?
Please.
I love because I shoot video as well as photography. When I go out and I'm working with, let's say not you, but like a different photographer I've never heard of. It happens. I'm sorry. This isn't my doing. Every time I get, I always ask, who's your photographer? They're always like, so-and-so. I'm like, oh, cool.
Your bad taste. It's okay.
It's fine. But I really enjoy working with other people who I've never met. Who are other photographers. I get to learn from them.
Feelings?
I'm sorry. I'm just telling you.
No, it's true. No, we got to get out of our field. I know.
We do. We have to grow and learn. And this is the best way to learn new skills, just by seeing how other people do the thing you do. Because there's so many ways to skin this. That's a terrible analogy. But there's so many ways to take a photo and pose people and relate to people and get them to feel comfortable in their own skin. And you don't get better by just being in a silo with horse blinders,
Yes.
staring at the feed and thinking, why isn't this feed changing? Again, bad analogies. But
You're doing a lot of
the
weird
idea
ones here.
is that you can't grow in a vacuum. You can't grow. If you're in a terrarium, you're stuck in that terrarium. That's
Yeah.
as big as it gets, right?
Yeah.
So as long as you have new ideas, new people coming into your life, changing you, giving you new perspectives on things in a very active way while you're working, I believe that we can all be better. So
Yes.
I love that there's competition. I love that there's other photographers out there that I get to work with on wedding days. And even, as a guest, seeing other photographers do their thing, it's a great experience for all of us
Yes.
to kind of like learn that there's more than one way to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, to go back to what Mike said about like community over competition, he's always believed in it. And as a photography educator, I think it's really important to point out, if you've heard me talk about community over competition, you know that I don't like the term community over competition at all.
Yeah.
I think if we're going to take it literally, and maybe this is just like maybe me taking language a little too literally, but
Okay.
if you're saying community over competition, then what you're saying is that you should let other people title
all over you.
title their sponsored ads more be photography. You wanted to share, you wanted community, let's be in it. So
it's community and competition.
it's community and competition, and I just don't think that there needs to be any world in which we put our community over the competition. The community grows through good and healthy competitiveness.
And the competitive nature-
That's where we advance our industry, is by saying, let's use this as an example.
I'd love an example.
If I started in 2012, 2013, whatever, and there was never any competition, you didn't come along,
What's up?
none of the younger photographers that have popped up over the years came along, I would suck. I would not be good. That is just a fact.
It's true.
My business would stay the same. I
Yep.
would still have a WordPress website. I
Because there'd be no reason to grow.
would be taking literally all of the business that
Yeah.
exists because I happen to be the only person in this area that's doing good work. It would be Taylor and I just dominating over here because there would be no competition, and I probably would have quit because this would not be a fun thing to do.
The times when I've seen you grow the most is when something pops up. You're like, hey, Tim, this is personally, this fucking shit happened. I'm like, oh, dude. And you're like,
It's like happened last week.
and you say, you know what? I needed this. I needed this fire right now
Yeah.
under my ass.
Yeah.
And then you do something and you take big swings
Yeah.
and you overcome whatever this issue was.
Yeah.
And
I
most
do
of
a
the time,
little Google search and I find out that I've been bumped out of the top 5, and I'm like, well, this will not stand.
I will
this
not,
is not going
let
to happen.
this happen to me.
No.
And so you literally build a new website like you did 2 days ago.
Yeah.
You update everything. You're like, I'm going to just try a little bit harder.
I wrote
and then
15
you do.
blogs.
And then you're top of the fucking heap again.
I was like, oh, it's a good reminder that I got to try.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And I just was like, okay, here, I'll put a family session up from Florence, Italy, and
I'm like, holy shit.
let everybody know I'm still
Big-
the best.
big dog here.
Big dog.
Big dog here.
I appreciate healthy competition. I do. I appreciate, like, if somebody wanted to take out a Google listing
Yep.
using my name, I would lose my freaking mind. I truly would.
Yeah.
It has happened that I have searched my own name in incognito mode, and the 3 top sponsored names are people in our area. It's probably
Yeah.
currently going on.
Probably.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart. That's smart business. Use your own name, though. You sure as shit had better be using your first and last name, whatever,
Do
photography.
not put Lindsay Coulter in
If you
your
said
headline.
Lindsay Coulter photography, you would be hearing from a lawyer. That is an absolute statement. I don't know if it's actually illegal, but I would definitely flex a cease and desist out
For
there.
sure.
Like, I have no
like you
idea
had
how
before
far we
with
would
people
go.
stealing your copy. So yeah.
You would surely be getting a letter. It's actually a good question. I wish that we had called Jason to ask him, like, because some
Ooh.
people in the Reddit, Jason is our one of my clients / friends / our lawyer.
Yep.
He specializes in intellectual property. So if you ever get into a position where you do have somebody stealing from you, let us know and we'll connect you with Jason. But the thing that I want to say about the like copyright is
Yeah.
that copyright is for like actual art, like for work, like actual bodies of work, whether it be an image or
The written word,
yeah.
scripts,
not
anything.
ideas.
Yes.
You cannot, like, I don't think that the name is copyrighted. It could be trademarked.
Mm-hmm.
It could be trademarked. So, like, I've trademarked Georgian Bay, spelled BAE.
Mm-hmm.
But up until that point, people could use Georgian Bay on anything. And that's my like clothing line for anybody who's like, what the heck is she talking about? I have many clothes.
You could,
they
if
say
you could
Georgian
pan
Bay.
left, you could see all of the clothes.
All of the clothes. You should buy some, georgianbay.co.
Link in the description.
But there was like a hairstylist that started using it after we popped up. There was another person that started making clothes that was called Georgian Bay. So we had to trademark it. This is basically just me saying I don't know enough about how the legalities of somebody actually using your business name, Morby Photography, in a Google ad would go over. But all I do know about law is that you can always try. You can always try.
Lawyers love to get paid.
You can always pay $900 or whatever it is and write a little letter and see how far it goes. And honestly, Mike did the second best thing to that, which is he just put it on the internet, and
which
now
is also very nice.
This is no longer happening. Just so you guys know,
it's been taken down, so you can't find this.
This was like, I don't know, not that many hours ago, like 12 hours ago or something that Mike posted this, and at the time of us recording this, we Googled it, and it was already not doing this anymore. So
it's no longer there.
NewPace has learned the hard way through like 10 one-star reviews on their Google listing. And I also want to say that's shitty. That's shitty.
Yeah, don't come after people like that.
Unless you are one of the 16 photographers that somebody actually did something egregious to.
Yeah.
We don't need to all
pile on.
Like, NewPace knows. They knows they goofed here. And the other thing is, when people do unethical and shady shit like this, he's just going to come up with something else that's new and unethical to do.
This isn't the last time we'll probably hear from them. Maybe we'll see. But Mike mentioned something really interesting in his post, and we're going to get into that right after the break, because I think that's the most interesting thing. That's the precipitating action.
Okay, let's hear. I can't wait.
Why he posted this.
Let's go.
Stick around. Photographers, how much time are you wasting in Lightroom? You get home after a weekend of shooting and you're stuck editing for days. What if all of that could be done for you? That's where Imagine comes in. It's AI-powered editing that learns your style and delivers consistent photo edits in minutes. So you can spend way less time behind a computer screen, spend more time building your business, taking photos, or just taking a break. Lindsay uses it, I use it, Taylor uses it, everyone we know uses it, and it's the best. Check out the description of this episode. You'll find a link. You can get 1,500 free edits. That's like a free wedding. Try it for yourself. You're gonna love it. Back to the show.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. So
Tim had to pee.
I had to pee.
Classic.
And also, that was a great ad. Wasn't it a great ad?
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to buy whatever it was.
Listen, Mike posted this, and in the middle of his sandwich of things that he saw wrong with NewPace's actions, which I'm not discrediting at all, was a statement that I think we can all relate to right now in the wedding industry, how it feels. I'm going to read it to you because maybe you missed it. You can imagine how shocking this news is. Every photographer I talk to is struggling with bookings right now, myself included, and as if that isn't hard enough, NewPace is kicking us while we're down just to make themselves bigger and stronger.
Yep.
Bookings.
And then he does go on and say, you know, if this is left unchecked, then they're just going to monopolize the market, right? And like, as I was just saying about competition, monopoly is not good. It's not good for anybody. No. Just because you can doesn't mean that you should.
You should. Yeah.
Monopoly is terrible for everyone.
It's also the worst fucking board game on the planet.
Oh, I love it.
You like Monopoly?
I love it.
Why?
But, well...
What do you like about that game?
I like to force my friends into playing games with me for many hours.
Okay, so you like the social aspect, but like...
No, the game itself is terrible.
Win. It's an awful game.
It's actually so terrible. You're totally right.
Yeah.
Monopolies in every sense of the word are terrible. And... generally in this industry, that doesn't really exist because there is just constantly new blood coming into the photography industry.
Which we love.
But what we don't want is somebody who just happens to have grown really quickly, really fast. Now they have some extra cash kicking around. They're like, sick, I'm going to take out some Google ads and I'm going to do it in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
And they're doing it to photographers who are already struggling, like he said, right? And that's the really, really shitty part. Now, this has come out at actually a really perfect time for some other content that has also hit the internet just this morning. So my husband, Taylor, put out a video this morning that I actually watched the whole thing of, which is rare.
Me too.
Because he puts out a lot of content, so I can't keep up really.
It's like 2 videos a day.
Yeah,
he has 4 channels.
Yeah,
he has like 3 or 4 channels. It's
probably
insane.
too much, but he put out a video. He's just been out west snowboarding for the past few days with Lachlan, who's the CEO and founder of Focal.
Yes, ma'am.
And we talked about Focal on an episode just last week. Actually,
you use Focal. I use Focal.
Yeah, so Focal, for those of you who are unaware, is a company that started out by building websites for photographers because Lachlan was the CEO. He tried to hire a photographer to do a couples session, and he got so annoyed with the shitty websites and shitty response times from photographers that he just was like, hey, I guess we're not doing this then because that's so annoying.
He saw a gap in the market and said, I can help people in this business create better relationships.
He was like, you guys are just bad
things.
at business then, and he sees how many photographers there are, and he sees really great work all the time, but then he sees them struggling to get bookings. Like Mike has said, Mike's in the industry for 17 years and he's struggling. So for people in 2025, the thing is, and that I like about this industry, is that it's constantly evolving and changing. So while Mike might have been the top booked photographer in his area 3 years ago, unless he's doing what is required today to evolve, that is not going to continue on forever, right? And so there's always new strategies, there's new things that are out there that need to be done, but there are the same true, like, time-tested things that photographers could do that we, myself included, are still bad at. So Lachlan made this video
with Taylor
called The 5 Mistakes Wedding Photographers Are Making in 2025. Do you want to hit it?
I would love to. We're going to do a little bit of a commentary. We'll pause after every tip. And then I want to add one at the end, which I thought was very interesting and topical and something I also worked out myself. Wait. So let's do it.
Love a surprise.
The number one thing you guys are f***ing up is not following up on your leads. Here's the thing. You're getting leads. You don't need more leads. And so all you need to do is actually nurture them properly. That means calling them, texting them, emailing them. Every single week that since you've heard from that lead, you should just be checking in on them, seeing if there's something you can help with, see if you can help with their wedding planning, ask them if they have questions about packages. Just be so relentless up to the point that they have to literally tell you to go away before you stop following up. In the Focal Ignite program, our studio managers are doing more than 30 follow-ups for our photographers for all their leads over months and months and months until they book, or again, they tell us to go away. No excuses.
Relentlessly following up with your leads.
Like up to 30 times, Lachlan mentioned that their sales associates at Focal are doing this. I'll tell you mine because it's not 30. What's your bounce rate in terms of, like, someone follows up, you reply right away because you're responsible and you're very good at your job and you're very good at communicating with your couples, and so am I. And so are you, probably.
Phenomenal.
At home. You're also really good, and we see you and we think you're great and we're valued, and we love 5 stars on Amazon. There's Amazon podcasts. We could do that too.
Yeah, sure.
How many times do you follow up if they don't reply within a week?
So I respond in an email, and then only because of Lachlan and the research that Focal has done, I actually also follow up immediately with a text message. I thought that would be incredibly annoying as a person that is getting an email and then moments later a text message. Yeah. I don't just copy and paste the email into the text.
Right.
What I do is I send them a text message because they give me their phone number in their contact form. Yep. I send them a text just saying, hey, it's Lindsay Quilter. Just want to let you know I sent you an email. As sometimes my first initial emails land in people's spam folders.
It's a great excuse.
Which is true. Like,
also
that's very, very true.
Yeah.
And if you are a photographer that is just responding to people by email and you're not doing a quick text follow-up, or like, I think you have done this. Our friend Liam does it, but a video follow-up. Chris Denner does this. Yeah. Like, just record a quick video of yourself being like, hey, Jackie, just got your email.
So excited. Your date's available on my calendar.
So excited to hear from you. I sent you some details, but, like, let me know if you have any questions or you just want to chat. Doing that face-to-face thing, I think, is really cool because it immediately lets them know that you're engaged. You're not just, like, sending off a boilerplate email. You're actually engaging with what
boilerplate video that you recorded 6 months ago. You're just like, hey, what's up, couple? Nice to see you. This is what I look like. This is what I sound like. Your date's available.
Everybody's sick of automation.
Can I tell you, if you at home are listening, watching, and you want to find a way to wrap your brain around this, because it does feel like, and it has for me in the beginning, like, not a violation of privacy, but it feels like you're in someone's pocket in a weird way. You know what I mean? Like, phones are such a personal thing to the point where we don't want even the sound of our phone to be broadcast.
Don't you dare.
Turn off the ringer. What are you doing? To get beyond that mental wall in your head of, like, I don't want to take up someone's time in their day, you lead your text message or your video with, hey, this is Tim Musa from Tim Musa Photography and Films. You inquired with me about X date. That is a good way to be like, hey, I'm not just
you
reaching
asked
out.
for this.
I'm responding to you.
That's a great point. Yeah.
It's so helpful for me.
Like
and as soon as I heard
you
that, I was
asked
like,
me for this, and I am now responding to that ask.
Remind them, right?
Yes.
Because maybe they don't know what you look like. It's a good way to start. And then the other tip I have is for the first frame of video, if you're doing a video, smile. Because the thumbnail that they're going to see in their messaging app
is the first
frame. So if you're like, start with an obnoxious smile. Because
that's so
more
funny.
likely to
I never
be,
thought of that.
Yeah.
Not horrified by the freeze frame. They're like,
Bingo.
what's going on here?
Who is this lunatic? So you follow up with a text. You follow up with an email.
Yeah, so I respond with an email and then a text message, and then I have an email tracker on. So if I can tell that they haven't opened the email, then I might send them another text message just to be like, hey, I just want to make sure that you got this.
Yeah.
They're probably going to say, yes, I did, whatever. A lot of the time people will respond and say, yes, it's out of my budget.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
I'm moving on.
Sure.
Like the difference there being that if you, the one thing I will say, and I talked about this in just last week's episode, so anybody who is listening to that maybe already knows this, but what Focal has now done is they've created this Ignite program, which essentially is just like a way for them to capture leads for photographers and actually help you get bookings, and they assign you a studio manager, sometimes two people, to run your bookings for you. What they do is so much more than what I would do, because that is entirely their job, is to get bookings, and they are profitable when you are profitable. So they're very highly motivated.
Yeah.
So they're doing what we should be doing.
Yes.
So what I do is not what we should be doing. I get that, and then they say, oh, you're out of my budget. And I'm like, okay, see you later, sucker.
Yeah. And that's fine.
And that's what I do. What they would do is be like, okay, cool. Well, like, can we work out a payment plan for you?
Yeah. What's the thing we can do to make this happen?
Because you were obviously interested, right?
Yeah, you reached out for a reason.
They're interested in this for a reason.
Yeah.
I think that one of the biggest things that I notice that photographers are doing wrong is not responding quickly enough.
Yeah.
Right? So if you send an email response 2 weeks after somebody has inquired, or even a week later, they have likely already found the photographer that they've now become excited about, because it was you.
Yeah.
And then they got excited about the person that responded to them.
Exactly.
So even if they haven't booked that person, it's now you're trying to pull from somebody else's positive, and you're in a negative. So it's going to be a lot harder. So you might actually have to do many, many more follow-ups in that scenario, because you haven't nurtured that lead at all. I really like what Lachlan has said there. Instead of just following up and being like, do you want to book me now? Do you want to book me now? You want to book me now? Find out how you can be helpful in other ways.
Yeah.
Like we talked about just last week, that I have this client that I'm literally, it feels like helping plan their wedding, because I'm helping them find venues, right? So I'm literally like responding to their questions about what types of venues. If you can be that person for them, then it doesn't feel so much like a sales pitch, even though you are absolutely nurturing that lead, just in different, less like, now what do you think about this? Now what do you think about this? Like they
see you as a resource. They see you as someone who's not going away. They rely on you, and they're going to rely on you for your photography.
Yeah, relentless. Okay, let's go on to number 2.
All right, now into number 2 of the things photographers doing wrong in 2025.
I can already hear you guys crying, oh, Lachlan, I don't have any leads to follow up with. In that case, fine. Run some paid ads. Leads are so easy to get, you guys, if you run proper ads through Facebook or Instagram. Put up an actual offer. Don't just be like, oh, booking 2026. Put up an actual offer, free engagement session, maybe an album. Give couples a little bit of a carrot, you know? Dangle a nice little carrot there, and use some nice photos. And please, for the love of God, don't run your ads to a DM or a messenger app. Like, nobody wants to message you. They want to go to a landing page and fill out a contact form like a real professional business.
Basically, what Lachlan is suggesting is, I'll give you the 101 on how I used to run paid ads, and it was so bad. I would literally just pick a photo that I thought like looked nice at a very obviously a venue in our area, so that if somebody is looking at venues in our area, or they're just a local couple getting married, they recognize, oh, that's the Allura Mill, I'm familiar with it, or whatever, right?
Sure.
I would probably pick a sunset glowy image, because that's my vibe.
Yeah.
That's nice. I like the sun. And then I would post it, like a post on Instagram.
Yeah.
because that's easy. And then I would just boost the post.
Okay.
And then the caption would be now booking 2025, 2026.
Which is what he just...
Literally just so bad. Just so incredibly bad. And you're just like, it's here. Do you want it?
Come get it.
It's literally giving that energy. Like, my name is Doug, and it's like, what's up? It's here. You want this thing, or do you want this or no? So what Lachlan is saying, please, God, for the love of God, try just one little bit harder. So what you can do here is create a new page on your website that is just dedicated to this lead. Okay, it's more effort for sure, but you know what is also effort? Going and getting a job because your photography business has failed so hard because you had literally no leads and you had literally no clients. So we will choose our heart here. So you're going to create a new page. You're going to put a form on that page.
Love it.
At the top of the page, it's going to put your offer.
Ooh.
So whether it's going to be a free engagement session, win a free engagement session, or win a free album with your booking. It's not that every single person that inquires with it will get this necessarily. It can be a free thing. So what I did when I was in like the first sort of round of this Ignite program was that we were running a free engagement session giveaway, which I could then go through all of the people that applied, essentially filled out my lead capture, which they
gave you their information.
They give me their information.
Names, emails,
they're
phone
asking
numbers
to be followed up with.
Yes.
In their mind, they're not necessarily inquiring for a wedding. That's not their goal, but they are giving me the knowledge that they are engaged.
Yep.
They're looking for an engagement shoot.
Bingo.
And then in the lead capture form, I would ask them things like, do you have a venue? Yes or no? Do you have a date in mind? Do you have a photographer? So if they already had a photographer booked for their wedding, they were probably not going to be winning my free engagement session.
Qualified.
Yeah. But I could then go through and qualify these leads and find out, like, do you want me to be your wedding photographer?
Yeah.
Engagement sessions are included in all of my packages.
Same.
So anybody who has won one of these then does get it discounted out of their package. So it truly is a benefit for them.
Yeah.
So sure, I'm losing the $600 or $500 or whatever is included in the package. But for me, that's so much easier than me having to just constantly be trying to get organic leads in other areas.
Bingo.
And hopefully your pricing is sustainable enough that a discount like this can be built in.
Yes.
But you create that form that's a lead capture that's specifically tailored. So it makes sense when people click on the paid ad on Instagram or Facebook, wherever they found it, it goes to a thing that matches what they've just clicked on. If it just goes to your contact form, they're like, what am I inquiring for?
This feels like a
what am I
bait and switch.
doing here? Why am I in somebody's DMs right now? Because if it just goes to their DMs,
I see what you mean.
that people don't know what to even say.
Yeah.
They don't even know how to respond. They're just like, hello, it is me. I saw your ad. So an offer is a really good thing. A free engagement session, a free album,
even better.
An extra like a free second photographer would be
an
extra hour, something that just makes them feel like we're consumers too. I love a deal.
Dude.
I buy things all the time that I did not need ever.
Yeah.
That I never needed at all.
Because it's on sale.
Because that was a sick deal.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's BOGO?
I
fucking love
If I buy
BOGO.
one more shirt, it's 30% off.
Oh,
And if I buy one
t-shirts.
more on top of that, it's 40%.
We can talk ourselves into buying and finding a shirt that we actually like.
And that's for things we don't need. What about a person that needs a wedding photographer because they are getting married and they need a photographer? Now you're just like making life easy for them. So, I think that lead capture thing is really interesting.
Brilliant.
Like people do try the most insane things because they see that's what other photographers are doing. And this is where I think it's so important to pay less attention to what other photographers are doing because all of those people are also struggling and failing. So you're making reels nonstop being like, why am I not getting any bookings?
Well, you're doing the same thing everyone else is doing, my guy.
Well, everybody else is making reels. That's all you're doing. What's your website look like? And they're like, oh, I don't have one.
What's a website?
That's crazy.
So it's a good way to look at this, to sum it all up in a way that makes sense, maybe for us, is to think about your client customer experience. They're seeing you for the first time through a boosted ad, whatever it might be. What does that experience look like? How do you make that cohesive? What's the journey to get them to a landing page to submit their information so you can
actually capture
them?
the lead? Yeah. And it doesn't actually have to be a lot. Like I have seen photographers be like, do I have to spend $500 a month on paid ads? Like you surely can. You shouldn't unless you know what you're doing though, because you can run paid ads until the cows come home. But if they're a shitty ad, it won't get you any bookings.
And they lead to a brick wall. No one wants to climb that brick wall. So moving right along. Tip number 3.
And number 3.
don't look so goddamn creepy on your Instagram. I see some of your profile photos. You've got like half your face in a shadow and you just have this blank stare into the abyss. We get it. You're having an existential crisis, but your clients don't need to know that. They want to see you as a nice, friendly, approachable person who's going to be happy and easy to work with on their wedding day. So maybe try putting up a photo of yourself holding your camera, post about, you know, some of your favorite movies so that they can connect with you on a bit more of a human level. You know, everyone likes Lord of the Rings. Just put that up there in the post. It's not that hard. You know what? These people that are coming from your paid ads, they're landing on your Instagram. They want to see you, not just your photos. They want to see who you are because they want to be able to connect with you, trust you, and that's the only way that they're going to be able to book you.
And that's a great point. I think everyone likes do you like Lord of the Rings?
I don't. Actually, he really lost me on that one. But if that lands for the majority of people, then that's a good one. I mean, my bio used to be that I loved George Clooney and M&M Peanuts.
Oh, wasn't it
George Clooney, Veuve? Chanel, M&M Peanuts, like, yeah, champagne and M&M Peanuts. I always have something that's generally likable. First of all, every girl loves George Clooney. That was like during a time when I think George Clooney was like a little bit more.
Who doesn't
that's
like
the other
George
thing.
Clooney?
Dudes love, everybody loves George Clooney.
Clooney's winning.
Right. So it's so random that I was like, I love George Clooney, Chanel. I didn't know anything Chanel.
And peanuts.
Well, that's the thing. It needs to be broadly.
Yes.
Like enjoyed, but not so generic. Like, I like coffee and chocolate. Baby, who doesn't? I like to wake up in the morning also. I'm confused.
Yeah.
Do you like sun? The funny thing, to go back to what Lachlan said about we get it, you're having an existential crisis. I cried laughing at that because so many photographers have lost the plot on this is a marketing tool.
Yes.
I get that you are using your social media to show a personal side of yourself.
And you should.
And that's good. And I post sad things on my Instagram too. It's not like I'm only just posting like my life is beautiful and it's perfect and whatever. Like when I've had bad things happen in my life, I have shared those things because my Instagram is an extension of me as a human being, and I want people to see that. But in the tools that are clearly specifically for marketing, when you have on your Instagram, I talk about this all the time, but I'm going to talk about it again because you know what? We have a podcast.
This is what we do.
Literally what we do. Your bio must say a few things. One, your name. Yeah. I don't care if you have shootyourshotphotography.com, whatever is your brand name. It should also then say, hi, we're Kristen and Tom. We run this business. It should say your names because people don't know who you are. We actually had a meeting with a guy that literally we don't even know his name because he has his brand name.
And we can't repeat it.
Well, I don't even remember the brand name, to be honest with you. But Tim and I had a meeting with a photographer who was like, hey guys, I really want to meet with you guys. So we meet with this photographer and we don't know his name because he has never introduced himself to us.
Guy.
He doesn't sign his name in any of his DMs and he just uses his brand name on Instagram. And like, could we be adults and just ask? We could, Tim, but I don't want to.
I was so hoping someone would come in so I could introduce.
And this is
so what I do, like, sorry, Chris. It's how rude of me, Chris.
Meet this guy.
Damn it.
So very funny, very funny. Use your name in your bio. Then it should be your location.
Yes.
And I don't give a shit if you're a destination wedding photographer.
Don't care. Where are you based?
Tell me where you're out of.
Where do you sleep at night?
You can say where you're out of. It's okay if it's a small town. You can say I'm from this town and I shoot in this area, or say that you shoot in this area. I don't care where you're from. That doesn't matter to me. But use a geographical location, because I don't care if you primarily actually do elopements and destination weddings. People want to know where you are based out of.
So we've got who,
where, and then you should say what you actually offer. So it should say, I shoot weddings. I
shoot elopements. I shoot engagements.
And
whatever it is.
Make it as cheeky as you want, but don't make it so cheeky that people are like, that's so confusing. Because you know those people that are like, I shoot authentic love stories. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Does that mean you shoot families?
Yeah.
You shoot couples?
Be specific.
You shoot, what do you shoot?
You know what I love Googling? Authentic love stories. That's my number one
Can
search.
you imagine?
No, I look for
No one
plumbers. I look for I look for
someone to fix this light.
Yes, I look for light bulbs. I look for specific things that I'm going to buy.
Yes.
Photographers.
Authentic
I'm
lights.
not looking for let's be really abstract with this search because that'll be really helpful.
I want to make it really painful and challenging for somebody to find me, you know? And if your goal is to make it really painful for people, but then the top photo in your grid should be a pinned photo of your face,
your beautiful mug,
or maybe a promo video or a behind the scenes video of you doing the job that you claim to be doing.
Bingo.
It should be you, your face, looking nice, looking normal,
fresh,
looking as normal as you possibly can,
smiling.
And it shouldn't be it shouldn't be the like dark, moody, I'm an artist image. That photo does have a place somewhere in your grid for sure, but not as your introductory image, not as your profile photo, none of it. You will notice why influencers, some of the most successful people on socials, they have their head cropped onto a plain color as their background because it's easily recognizable on social media. So when people do then find you through a referral or a paid ad or whatever, don't make them question if you're good or if you have something wrong with you. Because listen,
why are they always sad?
We do have something wrong with us, but they don't need to know that in the first 30 seconds of finding us. I want them to find that out later. I want
wedding day.
I want them to find out on their wedding day that there's something really wrong with me.
Yeah, no one wants to hire a vampire. They want to be seduced by a vampire, and then they find out they're a vampire once that vampire's taken all their blood. That's when we want to find out you're used by a vampire.
Let me do some work before I find out that you're absolutely kooky, you know? So don't make yourself look like a vampire.
No, don't be weird.
This isn't my space. Your name isn't Tom. You don't need to have a mysterious image. There should actually be literally no mystery when it comes to your business.
We can't choose our top 9 anymore. Is it top 9 or top 8? Was it top 8? It was top 8. Yeah. I missed that. That was fun.
Yeah, mine was really, it was a ruthless
Did you
world out there.
Did you go through and
I called.
Like every day?
No.
What was
only
your
when
song?
people upset me. Paramore.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Something Paramore, I believe. I think so. I said that really quickly, so I'm pretty sure that sounds right. Okay, let's go back to Lachlan. Okay.
Number 4. Should we do this one upside down?
You guys, the best thing you can do is get out from crying on your keyboard at your computer, around with your website or writing blog posts, and just go out and actually shoot and get to know some real people, build some connections. I think that the best thing that a photographer can do for marketing is just getting out there and shooting with couples. So whether that's like TFP, free shoots, or running free engagement sessions, for example, that's a great way for you just to get out there, meeting people, giving people an amazing experience, showing them what your creativity is all about, and then they're going to tell their friends. If they have a great experience with you, they're going to post on Instagram, and that will lead to more word of mouth referrals. Now, free engagement sessions are such an easy way to do this, honestly. Like, free engagement sessions are literally the number one marketing tactic, I think, for any photographer. And I know a lot of you have tried it, but you're doing it wrong. Okay, you're giving away free engagement sessions and then you're just doing a bunch of free shoots. You need to be qualifying your leads correctly. When somebody is interested in doing an engagement session with you, explain that you're doing this because it's a try before you buy. You know, the same way that couples are gonna try on their dress before they buy it or tour the venue before they book it, just explain that you're offering this as a way to try working with you as their photographer before they decide to book. And that immediately gets them in the mindset that, hey, this isn't just me doing a free session and getting free photos, it's me trying out working with you and seeing if I imagine you being, you know, the right fit for my wedding. And that's a much more wholesome way of doing marketing. And you're not just doing a bunch of free sessions, which I know you guys are going to bitch and whine about anyway.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
I'm so happy for Lachlan and Taylor that it's really cold in Canmore because they just walked through a garbage alley.
Yeah.
That whole walk was just dumpster after dumpster.
He said something really interesting and very specific. I think that it's something that we kind of all lose the plot on when we offer things for free. We think, oh, you know, that'd be nice. I would like a free thing too. I like that. That's cool. And you want to be kind of, you know, I feel like you don't clam up, but you get kind of like, oh, this is free. Okay, well, maybe they'll book. It's the same way when you're on a call and you're not really sure if they're like interested in you and you're kind of like trying to suss it out. You're giving them something for free. It's very nice. It's very beautiful. It's an engagement session. Be sure to tell them, hey, this is a, like Lachlan
Here's
said,
my expectation.
This is a try before you buy. I'm expecting you to seriously consider me as your wedding photographer. That's why we doing this. I'm not doing this because I'm a bleeding heart, someone who just wants to give you free things, because the world doesn't work that way.
No.
There's no such thing as a free lunch, and let them know that like this lunch is free with the idea that you're going to keep looking at the menu.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When I was doing this, I was like one of the first guinea pigs on the Ignite program.
Right.
So I didn't have the studio manager or anything. I was the one taking the client calls, and I was doing all of this myself. So that was like the beta. That was the 1.0. And then they were probably like, gosh, Lindsay could be doing so much better if we just ran her business for her. So that's where Ignite is now. And they were not wrong.
When did they start with this? Was it like the
a
heat
year
of
ago.
summer, or
Yeah.
was it like in the dead
No,
season?
it was
or
in the winter.
Okay,
it was
okay.
over the winter.
Got
So honestly, I was happy to be the guinea pig, because
Totally.
I will never shy away from hard work, which is very funny, because one of the things that Lachlan said that they were running into issues with was people are like, I don't have time to do a free engagement shoot. And he was like, you don't have time to do a free engagement shoot?
What else are you doing?
Lindsay's been doing this for 10 freaking years, and
Yeah.
she's out here still hustling free engagement shoots. So like, what do you think you're doing?
Who do you think you are?
Like, so honestly, it was good
Yeah.
because we would do these coaching calls with other photographers that were in the program in the same cohort as me. So
Yeah.
they were running this the same time as me. And one of the photographers was like, yeah, like, so I've done these engagement shoots and they're not doing anything. And I was like, what's your follow-up looking like? And he was like, oh, I'm not following up with them. I was like, I'm confused.
You have them.
It should be in the setup,
Yeah.
in the initial email that you send to them saying, hey, it's Lindsay. Just want to let you know you've won the free engagement session, and I'm
Holy
so
shit.
excited for you. I'm super
Dude.
excited to get to know you.
Yeah.
Hear about your wedding plans. You
Yes.
lay the seed right away to hear about your wedding plans, to chat with you more about what you envision your wedding day looking like.
Yes.
And I think the engagement session's a really great way for us to keep
You act
talking
as if
about
they've
that.
already booked.
100%.
Yes.
I then get into a call with them,
Yeah.
and then I would have a quick consult with them, and I would say, hey, like, just so you know, because you're probably confused. You've maybe heard about me in this area before, and you're probably trying to figure out why the heck is this girl doing a free engagement session giveaway. I said, first of all, and this was really real at the time, I think that people are getting away from doing engagement sessions post-COVID because people were not doing them during COVID.
Yeah.
People were doing the bare minimum, which was just barely getting married, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't have a lot of current engagement photos. I said, so I'm trying to build up my like engagement session portfolio with clients that I can guide them on what to wear, what locations, all of that. So,
Great point.
so I can help you, which is obviously great. You're going to love having somebody
Amazing images of yourself.
pick photos or pick outfits for you
Yeah.
and help you pick out locations and stuff that are, actually thoughtfully curated instead of just like, well, this is the outfit that I have, right?
Yeah.
That's if I'm willing to make portfolio images for you, then they're obviously probably going to be pretty great photos. But then the other thing that I would say is, and I'm going to be totally honest with you, most of the people that do these free engagement sessions with me book me for their wedding. So I will not lie to you. This is obviously for me to get clients, and that's
Yeah.
totally fine. And then I usually make like a joke so that it doesn't feel too salesy. And I'd say, because it would be really weird if we did this whole thing and then you went and booked somebody else.
Yeah.
And the right
They
person
laugh.
with me would laugh, right?
Yeah.
Like if my delivery lands well, they would get that, like, oh, she's joking, but also she's not joking,
But
because
also,
it
like, we
literally
should-
would be freaking weird.
Yeah.
And then I would say, and honestly, it's just how confident I feel in my experience that I offer people. That's
And
just
that's such
I just feel really confident in that.
You
I
just
feel
saying that makes me want to hire you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the level of confidence, that air of like, I'm really good at this. You should know I'm really good at this.
And I feel so confident in my ability.
Of course you're gonna
And I
book
feel
me.
so confident that we're gonna do banger engagement photos for you that
You're not
would-
gonna look anywhere
You would be
else.
crazy to go and
Yeah,
hire somebody
be out of
else.
your mind. And if
because
they-
I know that you're gonna love the experience so much. You're gonna love the outcome. You're gonna love the delivery time. You're gonna love the photos themselves. You're
Yeah.
gonna love the whole process. That you're gonna be like, yeah, let's reiterate that on a bigger scale.
Totally.
For the wedding.
And if they're complete sociopaths and they don't hire you, or they say to you at that point, like, hey, we're not looking to book you as your wedding photographer, here's one of the free thing, just disqualify them right there.
100%.
Tell them-
and
tell them that's not part of your
the
journey.
The lead capture does have to be like really specific
Like
enough.
99%.
So
Yeah.
because actually, and in the beta, Lachlan will tell you that we didn't have, do you have a photographer as a question
Interesting. Okay.
in it. So I would tell somebody that they won.
And they say,
And
oh,
then
great.
they'd
we
be
already
like,
have one.
awesome, that's phenomenal because we booked a wedding photographer, but it didn't come with an engagement shoot. And I was like,
This is why you're the guinea pig.
That sucks so bad. And then I would do,
calls failing.
Yeah, I did a couple of engagement sessions, not a big deal, but I was like, okay, well, how do I turn this into a win still?
Right.
So I told them that they had to leave me a 5-star review on Google, which
Amazing.
I'm pretty sure is like illegal, actually. I think that you can be reported for doing that, but it didn't matter. I didn't say you have to leave me a 5-star. I said,
leave a review.
I said, if you don't mind just leaving me a review, that would be so awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's something
just
at least, right?
leave me a really nice review. And some of my best reviews are from people that I did engagement shoots with, that didn't necessarily hire me for their wedding. It's all good. It's all gravy. Like he said, the best thing that you can be doing is getting out and actually doing shoots with people.
Yeah.
And then that's what we've been preaching for years to new photographers. They're like, how do I get better? And I'm like, well, you actually have to shoot more.
Yeah.
Part of your problem, especially if you're a newer photographer and you're hearing this and you're thinking, well, like, I'm not even good enough to be doing the lead capture thing. Do a TFP. Also, whenever I hear TFP,
what do you think of?
Toilet fucking paper.
Are you ever that desperate that you need it? Like, do you ever like, Taylor, we're out of toilet fucking paper?
Thankfully, no, we have toilet paper on a subscription
nice.
through Amazon. So no, in fact, I'm usually like, there's toilet paper falling from the ceiling in our storage room, and I'm like, toilet fucking paper. No,
my favorite thing is to buy toilet paper and then say, remember the Canadian Heritage thing where they see the cod all around the fish, and he says, "Sire, we have cod until the end of time." And I'll say "till the end of time" every time I buy like copious amounts of something from Costco: toilet paper, paper towel rolls, eggs.
That's good.
To the end, and no one gets that reference,
No,
but maybe you do at home.
Canadian history, those were really good moments. So a TFP is a shoot that you're doing. I think it started, I think, on Model Mayhem. And please don't roast me for this, because that was such a cringy website. But Model Mayhem used to be how photographers would find models to shoot with, and models would find photographers, vice versa, to do generally unpaid work. I think the goal was that people would get paid work out of it. I don't think anybody actually did.
Exposure
but
bucks.
then people would do TFP, trade for promotion, trade for product, trade for print, I think is what it was. But essentially, you're going to trade your time as a model for me to have these images, and I will give you the images as your payment also, so you can use those in your portfolio.
Bingo.
That's funny. I've just always said toilet fucking paper. I actually don't even know what the P is. But the idea is that you can do a model call, and we've talked about this before, is if you need to diversify your portfolio, you need to build your portfolio, it's just not that hard to get people to want free photos. You have the thing that everybody wants.
The camera and the ideas.
You just have to be really specific about it, because if you just post on Instagram saying, hey, I want to do a free shoot, you will get literally everybody in the world. So be specific. I would like to do a shoot with a couple who is engaged, who lives in this area, and who is willing to go to a location at the time and place of my choosing, and is willing to dress in a way that I choose.
Bingo.
Those are very specific asks, but no one can be upset when you then have those asks in the end if they knew what they were signing up for. Then you're not just getting some random person that just wants a free thing.
Bingo.
You're getting a person that's willing to do a little bit of legwork to make this work for you.
Bingo.
Those are my thoughts. Let's move on to number 5.
And number 5, the 5th thing photographers are doing wrong in 2025. Back to Lachlan.
Because I know you guys all have ADHD and aren't going to follow my instructions anyway, you should just sign up for the Focal Ignite program. All right? It's easy. It's $650 a month, which is fucking super cheap, because you get 4 people that literally help you: a website designer, an ads manager, a studio manager who's your own personal salesperson, and that studio manager also has an administrative assistant. 4 people. And we spend half of that $650 at least on your ad budget to generate you leads, and then your team is actually working for you to then nurture those leads and do everything I talked about in this video. It's all done for you. Literally all you need to go out and do is like shoot some couples, take some consultation meetings. It's super easy, and you should do that instead.
All right, back to skiing with us here in Banff National Park, Alberta, Canada.
Listen, Ignite. You joined it. You were in the beta.
I was the beta fish. Truly, again, full disclaimer, I have like the world's smallest percentage of this company. I don't think that is really going to change my life in any way. What will change my life though is if you guys stop doing shitty things, like running Google ads using somebody else's business name, and you start running your business like a fucking business. I love Lachlan so much.
She's great.
There is nobody that gets me more fired up than Lachlan, and I think Lachlan and I do it to each other because like he's like so normal and chill, and then we get into a room together and we're just like, and then did you hear about this person got the most incredible inquiry of all time, and then they just let that thing go. And then, you know, I'll tell him a story about, this photographer just told me that they haven't booked a wedding in 6 months, and he's like, I told them that we would run ads for them just to show them how this would work, and we could have made them so much fucking money, and they just don't, right? And this is the thing, the Ignite program has evolved from what it was, where they used to run paid ads for you. They would help you set up your website, they would get the lead capture and everything done for you, and then all you had to do was respond, and they realized that these people aren't even doing that. They're not even doing that part.
They can't even bother to like do the thing that makes them the money.
So they charge a tiny little bit more monthly to make this program, which is an insane program. Like it's truly insane.
To recap, you get a web designer who helps you design your website from scratch, from templates that exist or that are proven to work really well. They take
that
all
are sales
of
driven.
Your blogs, they port them over from whatever you're using before, whether it's Pixie Set or WordPress. They'll port all those blogs
onto
over.
like an SEO driven website. So you don't even have to run Google ads taking out somebody else's name. You'll probably just rank. That's nice.
And they're really good at SEO. They're really good at making sure that you are showing up for people on Bing and Google and every other, Ask Jeeves website that people are searching for photography for. They also give you a person to run your ads for you, which is pretty incredible. And half of the investment you make per month. Again, this is not an ad for Focal. We're just something we believe in.
We're just jazzed about it. It's just crazy. It's just like actually insane. And the thing that we're seeing all the time, actually, today's episode, prior to Mike Morby having this scenario unfold, prior to that, the episode that we were going to do actually was going to be our annual "Are Bookings Down?" question mark vote, because it is a thing that happens every year at this time of year. Photographers at conferences are coming up. Hey, how are things doing for you? We're really worried. We hear it at the Focal booth. I hear it when I'm at the Social Templates booth. I hear it when I'm at the Imagine booth. People are not just talking about how to, edit their photos. They're not talking about that. They don't have photos to edit because they don't have clients right now, and they're freaking out. And I do believe, I know, like last year, I think we did Our Bookings Really Down, or Do You Suck at Marketing?
We did.
and this will not be the first nor the last time that we talk about this. We talk about this like quarterly. I believe, though, truthfully, right now, I do believe that bookings are down across the board, because that's what happens when you're in an economic downturn. That's what happens when you elect tyrants. That's just what happens in a post-COVID world. Listen, I'm not an economist. Shit sucks out there. Grapes are $1 million.
$14
like
per grape.
It's expensive to live.
Yes.
But what I have said before, and I'll say again, is that weddings are recession-proof. So people will continue to spend money on weddings. What they will not do is hire shitty photographers who have given up and aren't trying to get their money. It might be harder, and you might have to work a little bit more to get those bookings, but you can still get them. So we were going to talk about like, our bookings down, is this a real thing? And the people that are in the Focal Ignite program are not seeing that. Like they're not seeing bookings being down at all. In fact, they're seeing them go up because they have this studio management system working for them, which is really great. Like Lachlan is not gatekeeping. He literally just told you the entire way how they run them from start to finish. He just told you. So if you don't want to spend $650 a month and you'd rather spend $325 on your own paid ads and see what happens, by all means, I would love to see it happen for you.
I would genuinely love to see that happen for you. It'd be amazing.
If you actually have the energy and the time and the lack of ADHD, then you should give it a go. But what they have seen is that people will not do it, myself included, right? Like I was a part of the program, and then I was like, okay, I'm busy in the summer season. I'm not keeping this up. And then you're getting these peaks and valleys that unsustainable businesses see, right? But sustainable businesses, operate with with a longer
roadmap.
Yes, that's exactly the word, a longer roadmap. So, I guess this episode has turned into the end of the Mike more. You know what we should do is we should email New Pace and be like, hey, heard your strategy is fucked. Have you heard about focal ignite?
That'd be amazing. See what they say.
That's actually so funny. I'll reach out to them.
Yeah,
I mean, they're getting roasted right now, so somebody should give them something nice.
The last tip that was not included in this grouping of tips.
I want to hear yours.
Because it's something I put into practice, which took me 9 years to finally do.
Oh my gosh, what's the
and
rush?
Something that Taylor's been saying for probably 15 years at this point is make a goddamn video about yourself and your business. People don't like reading. That's why audiobooks exist. People like to watch a video that explains everything in it. That's why television has been the number one medium for 50, 60 years at this point?
I'm not a historian.
Who knows? Those facts are probably inflated and not real, but you can't deny it. You're watching us right now on YouTube, you're listening to us, and you're not reading the transcript of this fucking episode because people don't want to read stuff. They want to have things spoon-fed to them, like the airplane that your mom used to like.
There's a reason why people spend like 12 hours a day on their phones minimum now.
I made a video of myself. It only took 9 years.
It's really good.
And I like it.
Play it at the end of this podcast.
Okay, I will.
It's so good, you guys. It's a masterclass in like Tim knows that I am a very harsh critic on any sort of medium that comes out there. You heard me talk about this last week when I was like, I'm upset about this table behind me and we need better lighting and all of that. Perfectionism is a curse. But what I will say is I saw Tim's video and I had no notes, and that is a first for me in my entire life. It's so freaking good.
It's such an easy way to connect with people without actually having to, reach out and shake their hand from their house. You know what I mean? Like you're creating a proxy version of yourself that exists in a way that is timeless because you're never going to look younger than you do, and it also explains everything in a very concise way under 2 minutes. It's a beautiful thing to do, and I don't know why the fuck it took me so long. I know why, because perfectionism.
And I understand why, Tim, it took you so long because you are a videographer. For me, making a promo video would be quite easy because I would literally just hire somebody to do it. Yeah. And then I would just like pull clips that I like or don't like in and out of it. You know what I mean? And image selection can be challenging and you're like, is that really representing my best work? And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's your best work. If it never sees the light of day, that is going to hold you back further than maybe putting in one photo that doesn't perfectly represent what you want to be doing.
I told myself yesterday, I've been editing for 2 weeks now, which is a wild time to do this because I kind of strung this together with a few different thoughts, and like I do sometimes, it all comes together in post-production, and it did. I said, enough is enough. This is good enough.
Good.
Get it out there so you can watch it right after this episode
Hopefully
concludes.
You feel inspired to try a little bit harder.
And you should.
It's the winter, you guys. There's literally never been a better time. If you're feeling down in the dumps about your bookings, you are not alone.
No.
Mike's there with you. Tim and I are there with you. Everybody I speak to in this entire industry is feeling that way.
Yeah.
The one thing that I will reiterate is that the universe does not respond well to desperation.
No.
So if you are feeling like my finances are screwed and this is not good, find a way to keep, the boat afloat. So if that means that you have to do some mini sessions or a gift certificate sale or something quick to bring in some funds, do that. While you're doing that and you can see some money coming back into your account and that feels good.
Pour some fire on it.
Think long term. Think about the thing that you can invest in so that you're not in this position again, whether that be a really good strategy through Ignite or doing what Ignite is but on your own. That's cool. Or creating a promo video for yourself. Just try a little bit harder this week.
It's not hard.
And next week will be better.
Happy 1 year pod-iversary, Lindsay. Well done.
Great doing business with you.
Well done.
This has been awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. 1 year of the Shoot Your Shot podcast. We would love to hear from you guys. What are you loving? Don't tell us what you don't like. No, don't tell us. You can tell us.
No, it's fine. We'll
tell us what you want more of. You want more guests. You want more hot takes. You want us to, I don't know, do more things out in the world. We would love to hear from you. It's been 1 year and I feel like we're just barely getting started.
Just scratching the surface. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, subscribing, leaving us 5 stars on all the things you listen and watch us on.
He says it every week, you guys, but have you done it? Have you liked? Have you commented?
I haven't seen any.
Have you subscribed? Okay, love you all. Thank you guys so much and we will see you next Monday.
Mwah. Ciao. To quote Ferris Bueller.
Can't respect somebody who kisses your ass.
No, sorry, not that one. The other famous quote.
Life moves pretty fast. you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Yeah, that one. The same could be said for your wedding day. When it's over, all you have left are the memories and whatever was captured. Hey, I'm Tim Yuza. I'm a photographer and filmmaker based in Ontario. Whether it's through photos or video, my job is to document everything. The big moments, the tiny ones, and the ones you didn't even notice were happening. My photography is a mix of documentary and personalized portraits. Because real moments matter, but so does looking really, really good in them. Yes, I will take plenty of candids. Yes, we will take family formals. And yes, we will create some amazing portraits of you and your partner looking really, really good. When I shoot video, I'm making a documentary about your love. The way you move through the day, the words and reactions you share with each other, and the way people show up for you. How the whole day feels. That's what I want you to remember. And you won't care about trends in 20 years. You'll care about the images of your favorite people in the same room to celebrate you. That's what I'm here to capture.
There's a shindig in the kitchen.